Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Welcome to New York. I'm in Chelsea Park. Thought this was a great place to stop and do a video. It's early morning for me. It's just gone 9:30. I think for you guys it's about 2 o'clock. I've been here 2 or 3 days now. It is really good. Yeah, I knew it would be. I knew there'd be a lot to see. There is so much to see. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing over in New York on my international break, go and follow me on Instagram. I'm posting loads of stories and posts over there. Get a look at, right, so I'm photo pitch, good place to do this video. Turn around and it's the skyline all around a football pitch. It's nuts. There's so many built up buildings and yet still find room for a full size 5G pitch for anyone to come on and use. And I'm the only one using it as I come on to talk to you guys about Kalvin Phillips. Eddie Howe, January transfer window. That's right, it's, what is it? I need to check my watch again. Still half asleep. 15th of November? And already the January window chat has started. In fairness, with good reason, to be honest, because we are having an absolute nightmare in terms of injuries. I mean, really before the injury issues even started, you know, Tonali getting banned for the rest of the season wasn't a great start. You know, £55 million player that we hoped would play a massive... This plane's going over my head, yeah. So many helicopters in New York. I think everyone's obviously getting tours all over the place. People are running around the running track, probably looking at me going, what's that weird British guy doing with his phone in his hand? Anyway, 55 million on Tonali, unavailable, and the list just goes on and on. I think it's crazy to think that we've got so many left backs, but we actually don't, because Targett's gone and got himself injured for 3 months. Burns meant to be out for 3 months. Lewis Hall, you know, the 18-year-old lad who we were sure would get some good game time this season, but now getting, you know, his first ever Champions League start at the age of 18 is absolutely crazy. So we need to go in this window, and I think we need to hit this window hard. Dan Ashworth wasn't afraid to discuss the January transfer window in his recent interview, where he obviously touched on the idea of heading into the Saudi market to buy players, saying that it was something the club would look to do. I still think it's an option. Obviously, we're waiting to hear, and actually, to be honest, it could well have been this morning, tomorrow, where Premier League teams are voting as to whether they think clubs should be allowed to change players from owners who own the same football clubs, which is seemingly very, very targeted at Newcastle United. Nobody's ever been bothered for quite some time, and all of a sudden it's a big thing that needs to be looked into, all because, and you know what it is, I think Dan Ashworth has, you know, thrown his fishing rod out there and hooked a lot of fish there, because I do think if Dan Ashworth was that bothered about going into Saudi Arabia to buy players, he wouldn't be openly telling people about it in his interviews. So I do genuinely think that Dan Ashworth has, you know, thrown the rod in and hooked a whole lot of hook, line and sinkers there of everyone whinging. You know, I think he probably knew what he was doing. Dan Ashworth isn't going to come out and go, yeah, here's my list. Ruben Neves, whoever else, Benzema, Neymar, we had everybody in. He's not going to do that if he's genuinely going to do it. You would wait, keep it quiet until the 1st of January and then bring the players in. We'll wait and see what happens. It sounds like that could well be out the window, but I do think that it wouldn't have been necessarily the top of the priority list. However, what he did say that was very interesting, and you've got to think it's true, is that he wants to be flexible. He wants to be dynamic with how we use funds, how we choose to buy players this upcoming January window. And the idea that if we've got this much money for this window, this much money for this window, this much money for this window, the way he was talking was that, you know, they're not afraid to try and pull figures forward from the summer into the January to make sure we can spend when we need to spend. And at the minute, we've just had a takeover. Everyone's very excited. Everyone wants to see us spend every moment of every window. And I think it will probably be like that for some time. What was it? Man City spent 700 million, it's been revealed. And it was like an 80 million profit. A new record in terms of Premier League club spending for a calendar year or a financial year. You know, we're still 500 million behind that, and for good reason, because we have to bring the money in to spend it. You can't just pull it out of nowhere. So yes, it's a bit of both. It's being dynamic with what funds are available when we do spend them, being like, yeah, we'll pull some from the summer over here, or actually we didn't quite spend that much in the last window, so we'll actually pull it back into this window. Is good to hear. And as I say, Eddie, is heavy links to what we will be doing this January window. What I will say as well, actually, before I come on to that, is as exciting as it is to spend this January, how much we have to spend in January, how much we have to spend in the summer, how much we're trying to pay back off Tonali deal, Barnes deal, Livramento deal. Things are looking tough in Europe right now. And things are tough in the Premier League as well. If we don't qualify for our Champions League group, we need Europe. You know, I think I've heard some people say, no, not that fussed on Europa, actually. You know, we've been dying for, you know, and I get it. I do totally get it, because I have similar feels myself. I've waited all this time for European football. We've got Champions League. Yeah, I don't really want Europa now. Just want the Champions League, you know. And at the same time, you know, we're really trying to push it in the Premier League. Could we do without? You know, we've had our Champions League. Oh, well, you know, I'm saying as if it's over. We can still keep going. But, you know, concentrate on the Prem. I can't work that way. We need Europa. We need Champions League. We need something, because honestly, I think the books are getting fried at the minute. And without that Champions League, Europa League, we've got to do it. But the reason for this video is that really heavy links are starting to come out as to what Newcastle want to do this January window. It's been heavily reported. It was by a friend of mine on True Faith, Joel, who announced this one first. It's been followed up by ESPN and a whole host of other sources, that Kalvin Phillips is the top target for Newcastle. I think it's a name that's been flying around for some time. I think it's a name that probably Man City would listen in on. I mean, England international. I don't know how at the minute, when you've got good old Longstaff and Gordon sat on our bench. Although, to be honest, I don't mind too much, because it means they can take a bit of a break. But yes, he is a good player. If we can send him back to the Leeds Bielsa days and get a tune out of him. And that's what Eddie Howe does, isn't it? Get tunes out of players, and I think Kalvin Phillips could well be one of them. I saw a debate on, you know, what players would you want out of that Manchester United team? And you could easily go, none of them, to be honest. But it's not like that. Our team dynamic isn't the same as what Manchester United is right now. I think if you took any Manchester United player out of there and dropped them into our side, I think they'd probably excel as an individual. It's like that group. We've got a really good group mentality. If you can take Kalvin Phillips out of that Man City team and drop him into ours, with a Longstaff beside him, with a Bruno beside him, with a Joe Linton beside him, with an Eddie Howe training him, with a Kieran Trippier and Lascelles as the captain, I think he could do really good. And it's numbers, and the links are all around loan move. The link is all around loan move. Get a player in to help boost the numbers, and I do think loans will be something that Newcastle definitely try to look into this window, because as I mentioned, it's being dynamic with funds, but it's also what's available and also not overstretching. Man City aren't probably going to turn around and just let us have them for a tenner. You know, they're gonna probably want 20, 30. I don't know how much they spent on them. I think it was probably a fair amount. They're going to want to try and recoup some of that money back, but at the same time, it's also like a cost loss management for them. If he's going to sit and he's never going to play for them, then maybe loaning them out to us would be a good idea. We can go out there and try and hurt the likes of some of their title contenders. Well, we already did it. We already beat Arsenal for them, didn't we? So yes, there's options there. Let me know your thoughts on the January window coming up. Try not to get too specific on it at the minute, because it's still so far away. I think it's interesting to talk about what we will look to do for it, and really I think Kalvin Phillips is the leading name right now. So let me know your thoughts on Kalvin Phillips down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have probably enjoyed a bit of a different background in this video as well. As I say, another busy day ahead of running around New York. So if you'd like to see what else I'm up to, go check out Instagram. And yeah, follow me on there. That is today's plug. Link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy your international break, and I'll catch you later.